Hey, Mark, how you doing out there?
I'm doing great. How are you today, Dave?
Well, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day, and I thought it's been a little while since we've been on here, but we wanted to kind of bring everybody up to date on some things, and hopefully we've got some information that will appeal to everyone at some point. Right now, we're looking at a satellite photograph, and it looks like it's a nice day underway. A few clouds to the south, and what is that wispy-looking stuff off to our north?
Well, that's smoke coming from wildfires up in Canada. That's why the sky has looked so hazy the past couple of days.
Yeah, we're not getting that beautiful blue skies that we always like this time of the year, but at least we got sunshine. And the main thing is we're not getting any rain right now.
Yeah, we had some pretty good rain back over the weekend a little bit, about an inch of rain here in our area. But the coming week's going to be dry, looks like all the way through, except for a little bit of a chance Tuesday evening for some showers or thunder showers.
Yeah, so folks, it looks like if you've got some outdoor work to do, if you got planting of the garden, as I do, and if you got things to harvest like cherries, like I do, you better get them off the trees in a hurry because the birds are sitting there just waiting for me to be away from them, and I'm sure they're busy stripping my trees as we speak. But anyway, I did manage to get a big bucket of cherries off of them so far. So maybe I'll catch a few more before. Yeah, I don't mind sharing with nature a little bit. Anyway, the birds perform a nice service of putting music in the air and eating bugs. That's the main thing, eating bugs. And
Yep.
so I don't mind sharing it. I just get the low hanging fruit. That way I don't have to climb up in the tree to pick the cherries. They take care of that for me. So anyway, there you are. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good week for all kinds of activities. If you're going to do outside work, you're going to mow the yard, and I hope I don't have to mow again. It seems like I just mow every other day right now because it's been so wet. And I suspect we're running above normal for precip. I didn't look at the latest stats. I wish I had before I came on the air, but I know that we are running a little above normal, and I think that's probably a good thing because we don't know what we've got in the future coming. There's some trends says maybe a little drier going all the way into the first part of June, drier than usual. Doesn't mean it's going to be a drought or anything of that sort, but it just means that we have a little bit drier conditions. So we can handle that. Farmers are needing to get their fields set, and most of them have already started planting. If they haven't, and I guess they're kind of running behind, but I do know that they are planting now. I'm going to take a look at the radar, and the radar looks pretty clear. I don't see nothing out there of any consequence. Let's see. We're looking at the Paducah radar, and just nothing there. And if you glance around the area, hopefully we're going to have some cameras in Kentucky here sometime in the near future. We're working with this program, Radar Omega, to see what it takes to add a couple of cameras around here. But let's take a look at UT Martin back in, Mount Vernon. No, Martin, Tennessee. Martin, Tennessee. 78 degrees. Looks like a beautiful afternoon. Go in here. My goodness, look at that beautiful, beautiful scene.
Yeah, it just promises to be the same through most of the week, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy around Tuesday or so. Our highs are going to be in the upper 70s to low 80s in the middle of the week, then back into the upper 70s in the late part of the week. Overnight lows are going to remain in the upper 50s. It's just going to be a fantastic week.
And the most important thing is that humidity is going to still stay reasonable. A lot of times in this time of the year, we'll get that humidity jump up there, but even now they've got 38% humidity there in Martin, Tennessee, and so yeah, it's going to be comfortable. So if you got outdoor plans, like I said, it's a good time to get out there, go to the lakes. I mean, the lake season is up and coming and ongoing. I've seen a lot of boats headed that way. If you go to some of the gas stations, you'll see them filling up gas, and I do want to remind everyone that one of our sponsors is Jonathan Creek Marina and Campground, and I'm told they have just a few spaces left open on the campground for RV parking, and I think he said he did have some kayak rentals left. So get over there and see Jonathan Creek Campground Marina, and they are one of our sponsors. We'll have more on that in future posts as we come along. But anyway, right now, I do know what's on everyone's mind when they go to the lakes. What is it, Mark?
Fishing, of course.
Absolutely. What's the lake conditions?
Kentucky Lake, the upper stage is at 359.2 feet. The lower stage is at 304.3 feet. That's 2.3 feet above normal, and the lake temperature is 74 degrees. Lake Barkley, the upper stage is at 359.3 feet. Lower stage 308.2 feet. That's 6.2 feet above normal, and their water temperature is also 74 degrees. So the lakes are looking pretty good. Uh, Kentucky Lake is just normal there. It's not absolutely clear, a little bit murky this time of year. Lake Barkley has some stain in it, so there's a little bit of muddiness and staininess to the water. So it's not absolutely clear.
Yeah, but that's kind of to be expected after we've had the rains that we've had and everything. But it should clear up fairly quickly. If we don't get any more rain time soon, I think you'll see those lake waters clear up. And, the big thing that everyone's doing right now is wanting to go out fishing. Boy, there's nothing like fishing. I mean, that is one of my favorite pastimes if I ever get the opportunity. I haven't been in years, but it's because I haven't had the chance. But, the great fishing can be found almost anywhere on the lakes. And there's a lot of stuff going on out there right now. I checked in on it to see what the bass or the fish report is on how they're biting and everything. And it looks like the largemouth bass, they're about mediocre. They're already off the beds. Smallmouth bass, however, is in doing pretty good shape. The crappie, that's also about mid-range between decent. They're still out there hitting pretty good. Bluegill, they're on beds, and it's excellent bite from what I'm hearing, as well as catfish. They are they're on the beds, but they may be coming off any time now. But, boy, I tell you what, you can really catch some good catfish out there. And, I was kind of surprised that there's a lot of state records, that were pretty good sized fish. And I know that I had a state record on one of those, what they call the rock bass.
Yep.
Yeah, I hooked him and I pulled him out of the lake, and the level of the lake went down about a foot. So that was a big fish.
Sounds like a big fish story.
Yeah, well, that's right. But to qualify for a state record, the fish have to be caught on line and tackle, on a rod and reel or a pole and line. But you can't be taken by commercial gear or by trot lines or snagging or anything like that. They have to be weighed on a scale certified legal for trade, and the weighing must be witnessed by at least 3 disinterested persons whose signatures must appear either on the application on a separate sheet attached to the application. Now I got this off the Fish and Wildlife website. It said, if available, also provide the scales printout. The fish must be left intact and not filleted, gutted, or cut up. And the fish species identification must be verified in person by a Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources, fishery biologist, or Wolf Creek National Fish Hatchery manager to be considered. If there's any questions, you can call the Department of Fish and Wildlife. They got 800 numbers, 800-858-1549, and they can give you better details than what I can. But I was looking at those records, and surprisingly, there's some pretty good sized fish that I was a little surprised to see, like bluegill. The state record is 4 pounds and 3 ounces. Now that's a big bluegill.
That's a big bluegill.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
And it's held. That record's held by Phil Conyers of Madisonville. He caught it out of a strip mine lake in Hopkins County on August 5th of 1980. So that record has stood for a good long while. So, if any of you have big fish like that and you want to consider them, they tell you how to do it. The crappie, the white or black, is 4 pounds, 14 ounces. And that's a pretty good sized crappie. Penny Hopper of Crofton, Kentucky, Watershed Lake in Christian County is where she caught it. And that record has been standing since May 8th of 2005. And I'll just name a couple of more here. Let's see.
Knowing how crappie are, that was probably a heck of a fight.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yeah. And, of course, I love catfish. One of my favorite things is to catch catfish because they put up a good fight. And so I've always enjoyed catching the channel catfish. And the state record is 32 pounds. It was caught by Cal Estep of South Point, Ohio. It's caught in the Ohio River. And And then let's see, blue catfish, 106.9 pounds. Whew.
That's a big fish.
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah, I think so.
It was caught by Glenn Grogan, Arlington, Kentucky, and again, that was out of the Ohio River on October 20th of 2018. So that's not that old of a record. And we'll go one or two more. Largemouth bass, 14 pounds, 9.5 ounces, caught by Mark Ward, Everett's, Kentucky, from High Sprint Lake. I don't know if I know where that is, but anyway, that was caught April 19th of 2019. So again, that's a fairly recent one. Here's one more I think is interesting. Rock bass, 1 pound, 10 ounces. And those fish, it's not uncommon to catch 1 pound rock bass in Lake Barkley. At least that's been my experience. But it was caught by H.S. White of Cadiz, Kentucky, out of Casey Creek over in Trigg County. That was caught on May 20th, 1975. That's a long-standing record. So anyway, I don't mean to cut you guys or bore you too much with just this stuff, because I know some of you are not interested in the fishing, but we did have some requests to cover some fishing stuff. And so, fishing and weather kind of go together. So right now the lakes will be calm. I would imagine you could use, on the day, usually in the mornings if the winds are calm, topwater lures work real well. And, so pick out your favorite fishing spot and go have fun. So what's next, Mark? What else we got on the agenda?
Well, I was just going to tell any of my aviator friends who might be listening in, it looks like it'll be a great week to get in the air with these temperatures and light winds. It'll be and mostly not much clouds in the sky. Be an absolutely fantastic time to go flying if you get the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing that we've been requested about was from our farmer friends who are out there that are watching. They say, "Hey, Dave, how about putting in some agricultural stuff as far as the activities go and the crops?" All that is weather related, but it's also very important because that's part of our food supply. So we want good weather with abundant crops and hope all the farmers make a lot of money off their crops this year. But usually right now, I'd say the primary activities this week are planting corn, soybeans, and setting tobacco. Fields have been a little bit wet, but they've made some pretty good progress in their planting of the corn especially. So the corn let me try this again. Corn and soybean planting is running ahead of both last year and the 5-year average. But there's been some reports of corn that's was planted in saturated fields. They're yellowing a little bit because of the abundant water. So we do need some dry weather to help those crops to go ahead and move forward.
On the way to church this morning, Dave, we passed a field that had been planted and the corn was already up and it looked pretty good. There was no yellow on it. Weren't very high yet, maybe about 8 inches to a foot high, but they're on their way.
Yeah, and it won't be long. We'll be looking at sweet corn coming in. That's usually around 4th of July, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere in that neighborhood, sweet corn starts coming in this area. I guess it's different times at different places, but there's nothing like a big old mess of sweet corn and some of your favorite. I don't know. I don't usually have anything else with it. I just have a bunch of sweet corn on the cob and go at it, But I will say that tobacco setting is ramping up with the average height of transplants rated as 8% less than 2 inches, 35% 2 to 4 inches, and 57% larger than 4 inches. So the transplant supplies are actually in pretty good shape. 88% is adequate, and 8% are surplus in supplies. Winter wheat condition. Now, winter wheat is pretty important. It remains mostly good, with 82% of the crop headed, so that's a good thing. Pasture condition also is mostly good, as the recent rains and warmer temperatures have helped aid the growth of those pastures. And, farmers have struggled to cut hay because of intermittent rain, dampening the work. It gets to it before they actually get it baled, and so then it's important to get that drying spell in between. So anyway, it does look like overall the agricultural activity is looking good and probably will really improve this week with all the nice temperatures and the warmer, actually be warmer, but I do think that humidity is going to stay in check. I don't believe we're going to get outrageously humid. So, but it's going to get warm. So If you like that warm weather, then this weather is for you. Anything else to add, Mark?
No, it just looks like, again, it's going to be a really fantastic week weather-wise. Everybody get out and enjoy it. I know everybody has to work, but when you can, get out and try to enjoy it. It's going to probably be one of the best weeks we've had for a while.
Yeah, and, I do say that we're looking at an El Nino taking hold. Right now we're, neutral, I believe. So
Neutral and starting to go more toward an El Nino.
an El Nino will usually give you a little bit cooler summer than usual.
Usually drier too, but
Yeah.
that might not be the case. It might be the case. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, the latest things I saw are that the projections are we may be a little bit above normal for precip, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be just soaking wet. But, I can handle the cooler and a little damper type summer, a tame summer, so to speak. So I won't complain too much about it. But anyway, as we close, I want to tell everyone that we appreciate you hanging in here with us while we try to get this channel up and going and off the ground. We've got a few things we're working on to try to get better. We're going to have some big improvements coming up about the middle of summer. You're going to see some major changes. But be sure and hit the like and subscribe. That's very important to us, and it's very important to this channel, to the success of it. If you don't subscribe to it, then YouTube doesn't know that we've got viewers, or they know we got viewers, but they don't think that, I don't know how they do that. Anyway, it's a YouTube thing.
They know we have viewers. They just don't know if they'll repeat.
Yeah, I think that's right. If you subscribe, they think you'll repeat and come back to us at some point. And I hope you will come back, because especially as the weather ramps up, and we will be doing more stuff live as time goes by. But, I don't see any point in going live if we don't have a lot of weather to talk about. We will continue to do these fishing reports and probably improve on them, and also the agricultural activities report as well. So hang in there with us. Hit subscribe. Hit like, and also notifications. That will it will let you know that when we've got a new video up or something's going on. So with that, I want to wish all of you a very good middle of the week. Let's see, what is this? This is May the 20th. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I did get that right anyway. So as we go up towards the let me see, it's Memorial Day weekend coming. It looks like the weather's going to be pretty cooperative. I think these pattern will go on up into the first part of June at least before we do something major, a big change or anything comes along. So we'll see how it plays out as we go forward. So anyway, with that, thank you all for watching, and I'll let Mark have the last word.
Everyone have a wonderful week. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
See you guys.